So how do you know if your relationships are healthy? In today's video, I'm going to share 7 signs of healthy relationships. And what I want you to do is I want you to use these traits to assess your relationship right now and your own relationship behavior. Because even if your relationships don't have these traits, you can start to practice these traits to make your relationships healthier today. And be sure to stay until the end because I'm going to be talking about a free tool to assess the quality of your relationships you can do at home. But first, if you're new here, my name's Michelle Ferris. I'm a psychotherapist and I love helping people create relationships without sacrificing their big hearts. So number 1, in healthy relationships, there's a healthy balance of give and take. Both people can ask for what they want and need. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to get it all of the time, but they can ask. And one person's needs don't dominate the relationship. Because if one person ends up being the giver and the other person ends up being the taker, it creates a lopsided relationship that is definitely unhealthy. Because what happens over time is that there's going to be resentment because the person doing most of the giving is going to wipe themselves out. And the person doing the taking is going to keep expecting that behavior. And that is why we need to confront it. So one quick tip you can do is give your relationship a percentage of how much you're giving. Is it 50%? Is it 70%? Is it 30%? Where are you in terms of overgiving, undergiving, or are you giving just right? Because that's going to be really helpful for you to determine the health of your relationship. Number 2, you can say no and set boundaries without jeopardizing the relationship. Because if you can't ever say no because you feel so obligated or the other person is going to get super upset at you, that's going to be really tough because you're going to always feel like you don't have a choice. And in healthy relationships, saying no or setting a boundary is not scary. It's not something that the other person is going to explode about. They're going to actually invite and honor your boundaries because they want their boundaries honored too. And what we have to remember is that boundaries are more about what we choose to do, not getting the other person to change their behavior. So in healthy relationships, boundaries are honored, discussed, and respected. Number 3, you can communicate what bothers you without making the other person wrong. And the key here is a lot of us get into trouble by using you statements. You made me feel bad. You should be doing it this way. Why aren't you doing what I want you to do? When I start a statement that way, the other person is going to get defensive. People hear a you and their antenna goes up. So what I want you to do is switch that to I, because that's going to be more inviting to just let the other person know how you feel. How you do this is using I statements. You let them know how you feel versus talking about their behavior and what they're doing to you. And that's going to help you be able to communicate in a way and be heard. Because if you can't communicate what bothers you in a relationship, you're going to store all those negative feelings up and you're going to eventually explode. And I don't want that for you. Number 4, you can rely on that other person, but when they can't be there for you, you have other options. You understand that that person isn't responsible for your needs. They don't always have to take care of you. Because if that's happening, that signals probably a relationship that's dysfunctional or codependent. Because somebody else, even if it's our partner, isn't responsible for our lives. They can't make us happy. We have to be willing to own our needs and to take responsibility. And to know that if our partner says no, they can't support us at that moment, we have other options. And in healthy relationships, that's really empowering because you know that you can take care of yourself no matter what. Number 5, your relationship is not threatened by anyone having outside interests or separate friendships. This is key because in a healthy relationship, you need to have your own support system. And if somebody is trying to isolate you from family and friends and they don't want you to have activities that are away from them because they miss you or they want you with them, in the beginning that can feel really intoxicating, like, oh my gosh, they really love me. But that can definitely be a sign of control and abuse later on. So if somebody is trying to convince you not to see family and friends, not to go to a party without them, I would definitely consider that a major red flag because having your own interests and friends is really healthy. And it's gonna actually help your relationship survive long term because you're not gonna develop that unhealthy dependency on each other. Number 6, you trust that you're gonna be treated with love and respect most of the time. Now, this doesn't mean some of the time. It doesn't mean 50% or only after a big fight. As a whole, you know that you're going to be treated with respect. And in conflict, they don't hit below the belt. They don't resort to name calling or making you feel really bad about yourself, because those are behaviors that are really concerning and they're going to end up costing you in the long run. Number 7, you can accept the other person as being exactly who they are, flaws and all, because nobody's perfect. We know that everybody has their stuff. Everybody has their childhood wounds that are going to show up on occasion, but it's good enough. So instead of trying to control or change them, you accept them for who they are. Now, this is not easy. So if you're with somebody who's drinking or somebody who is doing behaviors that are really uncomfortable and against your values, then this is going to require some work and some detachment on your part. Now, if there are behaviors that are blatantly abusive and hurting you, that's when you may need to reconsider the relationship, because we don't want to accept unacceptable behavior. But when you're talking about the person as a whole and there isn't abuse, then it really becomes more about accepting that person warts and all, just like we want them to do for us. So the next step is I want to help you figure out how your relationships are working right now. And I'm going to give a link in this post to my free relationship checklist. So I actually have some of them right here, and I'm going to show you. So the first one I have is a supportive relationship checklist. And this is going to help you understand where your relationships are supporting you. So the first 2 are, does this person make you feel good about yourself? Do they listen when you're struggling? Those are some examples. Now, for the relationship challenge list, the person makes you doubt yourself and your abilities. That's one challenging trait. Or they expect my support, but rarely support me. Okay, these are really key, and these lists are gonna help you understand your relationships and what needs to change. Now, the third one is your own relationship behavior checklist. And this is gonna help you rate your own relationship behavior. So the first one is, I balance helping others with helping myself. So there's a balance of give and take. I often recognize when a relationship isn't working, okay? That's really key, because if you don't recognize when a relationship is working, it can be really hard to get out of it. Be sure to get my relationship free checklists. It's gonna help you go even deeper, and I can't wait to help. Thanks so much.